name is Vanessa. Welcome to our Aleene's channel once again. I'm so excited to show you what we've got planned for you today. We are going to be working on some really fun Valentine's Day decor ideas using 3 of our Fabric Fusion glues. But I just want to let you know that Craig is also here with me today.
Hi everyone.
He is going to be here answering any questions or saying hi. If anybody stops by and say hi, we'd love to hear from you. Leave us some questions. Tell us any projects that you're working on. We'd love to hear. So I have 3 projects that I want to show you today. So it's really just using our Fabric Fusion glues in 3 different ways. So I'm going to show you how to create a home decor for Valentine's Day, right on time for Valentine's Day, with our fabric pump spray, which is great for like any quilting or any type of fabric that you have that is to be pressed down, or like a large surface. This will be great for a large surface. Then we also have our Fabric Fusion, which this one is our tried and true. This one's great for lightweight projects or DIYs or hemming and repairs. And all of these are permanent once dry and flexible. So that makes it a perfect alternative to sewing. And also our needle nose. This one is new. I haven't showed you guys this one. This one's for more precision type projects that you might be working on. It works great for small details, small hems, nothing that's gonna take like that rough rug and tug. Like it's just for like lightweight projects, DIYs. But again, all of these dry completely clear. They're washable and they're permanent once dry and flexible. So let's get started on our first project. I think this one, I made 3 projects and I think this one is one of my top favorites. Valentine's Day for me is one of my favorite holidays. I just love the way that the stores look, or decorations. Like I love the pink and the red. It's just so fun to me. So what I did is I went shopping and I picked up a few fabric ribbons to create this chain. So we've been seeing paper chains everywhere. People are creating them out of paper and it's like so fun and nostalgic. And I wanted to translate that. And I did some of those with our tacky glue, with the paper for Halloween. But I wanted to translate it into our Valentine's Day decor. But I wanted to be able to keep it longer. I didn't want to just throw away the paper chain after, just because, you know, storing wise, it just like smashes down. So I went with a next year friendly DIY, and I thought, hey, what better way than to use ribbon to create these chains? So you get the same look. I used a 2-inch wired ribbon, but you can use whichever ribbon you want. I wanted the ribbon with the wire because it holds that shape, but you could also use the ribbon without the wire and it would work perfectly fine. I did a 2.5-inch ribbon, but I've seen people mixing and matching the ribbon and doing different sizes and it looks amazing. So the ribbon is up to you. Any type of ribbon, it could be with wire or without wire, but for this project I used wired, and all I did was I cut out an 11-inch strip from the ribbon. I chose 8 different ribbons to have a variety of designs. So let me show you here some of the ribbons that I picked. I wanted it to look super girly, super pink and red and white, so I just chose a variety of ribbons, but they're all wired and they're all in the same size. Again, it doesn't all have to be the same size. They don't have to have wire. It'll all work just the same. And I cut it into strips, and then all I did was just chain link it. It's super, super easy. This one, that's all you have to do. I like to do a little fold so that my seam is nice and clean, and then just press it on there. But for that one, I'm going to use our Fabric Fusion needle nose bottle because of the precision tip. So let me show you how to get that ready. It does come sealed so that it doesn't spill everywhere and it's like protected and you guarantee that your glue is gonna work when you open it. So you do have to cut the tip off. I don't wanna go too far down because I don't want too much glue to come out at once. So you do have to cut that off. And now the glue is ready. I like to have a paper towel to make sure that when I put the glue down, there's no air trapped in there. So I release all that air. Once my glue is done and ready and it's flowing, I can add it to the ribbon. So I just add a good amount of glue because I want it to adhere. And again, once this is dry, it's gonna dry clear and permanent, and it's washable, but for this type of project, I wouldn't recommend washing it because of the type of project that it is. So if it does get a little dirty, I would just recommend spot cleaning it. But if you were doing like a hem or any lightweight work, you can wash it after it's been fully dry. So for this project, I don't recommend clamping for when you're using our Fabric Fusion, but you can pin it to let it dry because, I mean, it's glue. It's gonna have to dry, so just a light pin, and I put it away from where the glue area is at. So as you can see, there's the glue that I used, and it does look like it's seeping through, but it's gonna dry completely clear, and you're not gonna be able to see it once it's dry. Let me show you here. It dries completely clear, completely flexible. And it works great. And just like that, you just added another piece to your garland, and this is going to last you season after season, and it's a great little DIY, and I love it. Now you can hang it on your mantle or on your table, anywhere that you're ready to decorate. So let me put that away. So that one we just used our needle nose Fabric Fusion. So let me bring it closer here. Again, let me remind you that it is washable, flexible, and it dries completely clear. But the next one that I want to show you is our Fabric Fusion. So this one is our go-to for doing any lightweight repairs, any hems, anything that you want to remain flexible and washable. This is the glue that you're gonna go to. So for that one, I have a little bow garland. So right now I'm so into garlands. You can make a garland almost out of everything, but what better way to make a bow garland for Valentine's Day? Like, this is like the season to do it. So I just got a few ribbons that I ordered online, or you can get ribbon and make your own bows yourself too. And then this DIY is also super, super fast. These are all like 5-minute DIYs. Maybe the paper chain garland, like the ribbon garland, that one's gonna take longer because it takes a lot more to prep, but this one's already ready to go. And again, Fabric Fusion, it also comes sealed, so you have to cut the tip off. And the Fabric Fusion, what did I do with my scissors? Oh, here we go. Do you ever do that when you're crafting? The scissors always disappear. That happens to me so much. So Fabric Fusion, this bottle has 3 separate lines as cutting guides. So depending on how much you want like glue flowing, if you want like a large flow of glue, if you're working on a big project, you can cut it all the way down to here, or you can cut it at the standard size for the regular amount of glue. So don't forget to cut this tip off before starting your project, otherwise there's gonna be no glue coming out and you're gonna be so confused. So all I did for this project was just add a good size amount of glue to the edge of these bows, and then I just bound them together. So again, with this glue, we don't want to add any type of pressure or clamp them down. We want the glue to do its thing. So for this, just make sure when you're working on a surface that you can leave the bow garland like where it's at without moving, so that it has its time to like bond and adhere to itself. Because once it's glued together, you just want to let the glue do its thing. You want to let it dry. You can pin it. You can use a lightweight pin, but try not to use any type of clamps. Because this is a water-based glue, the glue will go into the fabrics and lock in, and then it loses its ability to bond together. So we want to make sure that the glue is sitting on itself and on the project, rather than clamping it down and then pressing the glue through the fibers. So that's the reason why we don't clamp it together. I just kind of just put them together, and I'm gonna let them rest. I would say overnight to be sure, but in a few hours it should be dry and you should be able to move it. So that's all I did to create this garland. Let me bring the one that's finished. I have it hanging back here. But once it's done, you can see how flexible it is, and it's washable and it's permanent. So it's going to hold all of your pieces together and it's gonna look great. And now you have 2 garlands to put together on your mantle and do that layering effect. I love a good layered mantle. So let me put this back here and out of the way so I can show you our third glue. Sorry, I'm gonna have to destroy this one for now because this one was just for show, but I will fix it later and add to my garland. You can always add to the garland. If it was too short, you can always add to it and make it longer and to fit any type of mantle that you might have, or drape it on the ceiling would look really, really cute.
And we did get a couple of comments here. Brew just said that she loves Fabric Fusion and just shared that it's so easy to use.
Yes, Fabric Fusion, I love the versatility it has because not everyone can sew. So I think Fabric Fusion is that easy way to also get those looks that everyone's doing without necessarily having to pull out your sewing machine. I personally know how to sew, but I prefer using a no-sew glue over sewing because sometimes it's just, I don't want to have to deal with pulling out my sewing machine, putting it away. Sometimes it's just faster. So our third craft that I have here is also really fun. It's another way to decorate for the holidays. So for Valentine's Day, what I did here was I bought a few sheets of fabric that I liked that were in Valentine's Day themes. So as you can see, it's a lightweight fabric. So our glues work best on lightweight fabrics for Fabric Fusion specifically. And I just picked a few designs that I liked that were Valentine's Day inspired. And I used my cutting machine to create these letters, but you can always cut them out using scissors or an X-Acto knife or a rotary blade, whatever you have at home, this will work for. I just happen to use my machine for the sake of time. And I cut them all out, and then I'm just gonna lay them out here to kind of give myself a little size guide. There we go.
And Patricia just shared that she likes the fact that it's fabric, so she can kind of use it year after year and bring it out, during the holidays.
Yeah, and also being able to like put it away and bring it around year after year, it kind of just becomes like a tradition or like a memento craft that you can keep and use for other years. But also what I like about fabric, I think it just kind of gives it a little bit more of like a finished look, a little bit more of elegance and timeless, I think, rather than paper crafts. Those are great and they look beautiful too, but like you can, with fabric, I think it just gives it a little bit more of an elevated look.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So with this one, I did use my cutting machine, so I cut it out perfectly, but as you can see, there is still some fraying on the edges. You don't have to worry about that because the glue, once it's set and bond and dry, it will completely take care of those frayed edges. What I'm gonna do right now is just trim them because I don't wanna see any of them. Once it's trimmed and cleaned like that, I'm just gonna do just a little bit of cleaning up there. But once it's glued down, this glue is going to help protect it from that fraying. So it's going to stop the fraying if you put in enough glue and you get it to the edges. So as long as there's glue on there and it's dry, it should protect it from fraying. So I have these ready to go. I'm going to pull out some paper plates. So you want to make sure that you do protect your surface for this specific step because this is a spray. So I thought that this was a really good form to show you, way to show you that how good you can use the spray adhesive. So this is for like projects that I don't want the fraying to start coming apart, so I didn't want to add glue and then have to brush it on because I want to avoid that fray. So that's where the Fabric Fusion pump spray comes in because I don't have to touch it once I start spraying it. So once it's sprayed, it's good to go. I can transfer it over and just let it sit overnight and it'll be completely dry and I don't have to risk that fraying. But you do want to protect the surface that you're working on because it is a spray, so it will overspray. Not too much, but it's glue. You don't want to get it anywhere else. So I'm going to do a few sprays. You want to make sure it's covered, not saturated. That's too much spraying if it's completely saturated. So I'm just making sure that I get to the edges because then that's going to guarantee that my fraying is not going to be, that the fraying is not going to keep happening. So a few sprays, and this will last you a lot of projects.
And we did just get another question on if it's washable.
Yes, it is washable. So all 3 of these glues are completely permanent once dry, and you can wash them. Can machine wash, and then I would just recommend air drying. If you can hang dry it, that would be awesome. And just like that, it's like completely adhered to the fabric that fast. So let me show you with the other ones. So I used a paper plate because I'm gonna dispose of it in between. Because they're different shapes, I don't wanna get the glue in the front of the X, and I don't wanna have to like figure out where the glue's at. But if it does get on the front, it's totally fine. Like I said, it's gonna dry completely flexible and completely clear, so you won't be able to see it. So again, just give it a good shake, make sure that the glue is not like settled down, and then just spray it. You don't want to overly saturate this. You just want a few sprays, but make sure you get to the edges because that's what's gonna stop the fraying. And then let me move this over, I think. Yeah, I want that design right there. And then carefully just lift. Oops, it's upside down. If you get it on your fingers, just use a paper towel to clean it off and it will wash right off. The good thing about this glue also is if you put it in a spot that you didn't like if I needed to move the X over or up, it's still not completely bonded to the fabric, so you can peel it up and move it and it won't leave a residue. It will dry clear, so it does give you time to pick up and move the fabric. So I'm gonna switch the plate again. So a total of 4 plates, but you can use something else if you don't want to waste plates. This was just the easiest thing for me to use right now, but maybe I would have used like a sheet of plastic or something to protect the surface. And it's not, I don't have to protect the entire surface, it's just where you're spraying. It's just a precautionary measure. So just like that, you can see like it's going down and the edges are coming up. I want to make sure that I spray the edges so that it adheres nice and flat. This one's easier because there's no wording, so I don't have to worry about it being upside down. And I can see a little bit of fraying going on this one that I didn't trim off, so I'm just gonna use my finger to push it down a little bit into the glue so that it dries. And if it's already dry and you see some fraying, just use a little pair of scissors to trim it off and you should be good to go. So just like that. Let's do the next one. Little shake, little spray. Honestly, I think this one was like the most satisfying one to do because you get to spray glue on. So let me lift it and just adhere it like that. And just like that, it's done. I did create a secondary one to show you once it's dry, but like they pretty much look the same because they're both holding on. Let me flip it this way so you can see it. They're both holding on pretty good. And as you can see, it's like not fraying, and I already glued it down. And now you have some Valentine's Day decor for your tables or your mantles. So I hope you enjoyed these crafts. If you want to see more crafts like this or see other types of glues that we might have, we have more than just fabric glues. We have crafting glues, we have industrial glues, so many different glues. Check out our website. Also check out our website for DIYs and project ideas. Also, if you have any project ideas that you're working on and you have any questions, reach out to us or just send us a message and show us what you're working on because we'd love to see that too. So thank you for hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed these projects. I hope to see you guys soon. Stay crafty.